of the society. With our resource persons, we discuss health issues in down-to-earth terms.
Join us every Thursday from 12:30 p.m. to 1:55 p.m. on 88.4 Royal FM, the Listeners Radio, and live on Facebook at Royal FM Cameroon.
Family health.
Health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease for infirmity.
Hello, dear listeners of Family Health, dear listeners of Royal FM. You are welcome to yet another edition of your favorite health program only on 88.4 Royal FM. And also, if you are willing to watch us this afternoon, you can get to us on our Facebook page, our live broadcasting on Royal FM Cameroon, Royal FM in caps and Cameroon in small letters. Also, we have a YouTube channel where you can follow us this afternoon. Dear listeners, you're warmly welcome. This is Family Health, and on Family Health today we are going to be discussing something very interesting. And what is it that is so interesting? It is the reasons why women choose to give birth at home, why they prefer to give birth to their babies in their houses rather than heading to the hospital, and also the dangers of doing that practice, of practicing that act. So we will have a midwife, of course, a midwife who is well experienced, tell us some of the reason and also what should be done in case you give birth, while outlining some of the dangers of giving birth at home. Apart from that, in this program we are going to be having so many slots. Of course, we have two slots. We have the discovery page and grandma's recipe, which you will find very interesting because we will have a lot to discover in those slots. But first things first, I would like to remind you this afternoon that we have a technical team assisting us, and this team is made up of Romeo Adekume, who is our sound engineer, and our video editor, who is Jean-Marie Otto, and for coordination is Jean-Patient Tala, and for general supervision is Reverend Pastor Bisa Emmanuel Noel, and for presentation I am FRINUE CRISPIN. And lastly, we are going to be having a beautiful gospel music to thank God for giving us life, to thank God for giving us everything we have in our lives today, to thank God for our families, to thank God for everybody. Let's have a gospel music, then we come and start with our program in the proper.
To keep us, for your strength is made perfect when we're weak. When the road is long and heavy, it's darkened, see clearly, I will lift mine eyes to the hills from whence my help cometh. My help comes from you. Lead me, lead me to where I've never been before, a place I've never seen before. When I come to the end of myself, Father, carry me. Father, carry me. When I come to the end of myself, Father, carry me. Father, carry me. Carry me home. When the road is long and heavy, when it's dark and so clearly, I will lift mine eyes to the hills from whence my help cometh. My help it comes from you. Lead me, lead me, lead me to where I've never been before, a place I've never seen before. When I come to the end of myself, Father, carry me. Father, carry me. When I come to the end of myself, Father, carry me. Father, carry me. No, my help comes from the Lord, the one who made heaven and earth. You're mighty, you're stronger than any other. One thing that I desire of you, that I may dwell here with you forever. I'm chasing no other. When I've come to the end of myself, Father, carry me. Father, carry me. When I've come to the end of myself, Father, Father, carry me.
Father, carry me into your heavens, carry me into your word. Father, Lord, take me in the spirit. Father, Lord, take control of my body, take control of my spirit. You know, that's just what the sound is saying, that's just what that song is saying, and I'm sure it's really entering your body, your soul, and you're feeling the presence of God wheresoever you are. Dear listeners, if you're just joining us, this is not a prayer program, it is Family Health. If you're just joining us, you're doing the right thing. And we started a moment ago. We had that beautiful gospel music. It is time for us to dive into the MAS-CO.
And is 1, 2, 3. MAS-CO Act 3. What if your solution comes from the mutual assistance and solidarity? Take the rendezvous for July 9, 2023 at the Yaoundé Multipurpose Sports Complex as from 2 p.m. to celebrate African solidarity. Get registered and contribute as from 100 francs CFA. Certainly, you will be the beneficiary of financing worth 250,000 francs CFA, financing worth 500,000 francs CFA, financing worth 1,250,000 francs CFA, or financing worth 1 million francs CFA. These, according to your choice and to permit you live a fulfilled life. At MAS-CO, we simply live our African values.
As I say every day, the MAS-CO has a lot to offer, and this time around we are talking about the different offers when it comes to financing, to the financing of project. Yes, MAS-CO is also out to finance your project if you're seeking ways to have some financial assistance when it comes to your different projects you're coming up with. Yes, of course, you can get that from the MAS-CO. It can be MAS-CO Classic and MAS-CO Gold, but MAS-CO Classic is not refundable, while MAS-CO Gold MAS-CO Classic is refundable, while MAS-CO Gold is not refundable. And at the level of MAS-CO Classic, we have 250 offers. That is the different financings that you can get from your project. It ranges according to amount, and the first one is 250,000 francs CFA. The second one, it is 200,000 francs, 200 offers that ranges of 500,000 francs. That is if you have 200 people that are coming in to get financement for their project. We have up to 200 offers, so we can give that to up to 200 people, and they can gain the 500,000 francs. Then also for the sum of 750,000 francs CFA, we have up to 200 offers. You see, that's just how the MAS-CO Classic is. And over to MAS-CO Gold, we have 250,000 francs CFA. That is, you have to contribute. It's going to be a contribution that is different. That is, let me come back to MAS-CO Classic. In MAS-CO Classic, the contribution is going to be different. You're going to register the normal 500 francs, then you contribute 26,000 francs per year. Of course, you guys know about that already. And then for MAS-CO Gold, the contribution differs. Here you're going to register with 1,000 francs CFA, and for you to have an assistance or financement of your project that is from 250,000 francs, you will need to contribute 200 francs per day, 1,000 francs per week, and 52,000 francs per year. That's the amount that is going to make you eligible to take part in the raffle draw. And if you happen to come out winner, trust me, you will not have to refund that amount. And also, let's talk about 500,000 francs. That's the next offer. It goes same with the contributions: 200 francs per day, 1,000 francs per week, and 52,000 francs per year. Same contributions goes with the offer of 750,000 francs CFA. Same thing goes with the contribution of the offer of 1 million francs CFA. Yes, you can get financial assistance for your project of 1 million francs CFA. The same contribution, for 2 million francs, the contribution is different. 2 million francs, that offer, you will have to make a daily contribution of 250 francs CFA, and per week you will have to contribute 1,250 francs CFA. Then per year you will have a yearly contribution of 65,000 francs. Then at the offer of 5 million francs CFA, it changes the contribution here. Per day you will contribute 300 francs, per week 1,500 francs. Then the whole year you will need to reach a contribution of 78,000 francs CFA. And then at the level of the second, the third to the last offer, we have 10 million francs CFA. Here you will contribute per day 350,000 francs CFA, per week 1,750 francs, then per year 91,000 francs CFA. Then it's going up to 20 million and even more than 20 million. Here we are at the offer of 20 million francs CFA. For you to get this, you will have to contribute 400 francs per day, 2,000 francs per week, and 104,000 francs per year. And then the last one, it is 50 million francs CFA. If you want 50 million francs CFA for your project, that is financial, for your project to be financially assisted, you will have to get registered, contribute 500 francs per day, 2,500 francs per week, and 130,000 francs per year. And it is worth noting that if you go in for this financement for your project in Maso Gold, if you happen to be a winner, you will not have to reimburse this money. No, it's going to be yours. But now if you go in for Maso Classic, you will have to refund it, because there it is refundable. And the sum of 5 million, the sum of 10 million, the sum of 20 million and 50 million do not exist in Maso Classic. So if you have enrolled in Maso Classic, you will not have this amount of money. It ends at 750,000 francs CFA. And also, dear mutualists, dear listeners, we would like to remind you that we are left with just 3 days to the grandiose Maso Act 3 ceremony, raffle draw ceremony, to take place at the Yaoundé Multipurpose Sports Complex. Trust me, that ceremony is going to be one in town. It's going to be one in the country. It's going to gather thousands of mutualists at the Yaoundé Multipurpose Sports Complex. And who knows, you mutualists of the Maso, if you are going to come out winner, if you are going to win financement for your project, what amount are you going to win? Who knows? Your fate, only God knows. So that day you will have to show up as early as possible. And also, since as we are left with just 3 days to the Maso Act 3 raffle draw, you can still get us on this number in case you're still struggling to get your identification form, or maybe round up with some certain matters that concerns your Maso contributions. You can get to this number 693-930231. Let me take it all over. 693-930231. You can get to this number and get all the clarification you want from this number. Of course, that's just how the Maso is, and we can't wait to meet you, dear mutualists, on July 9 for the grandiose ceremony of the Maso Act 3 raffle draw.
At Maso, we simply live our African values.
Listeners of Family Health, listeners of Royal FM, if you're just joining us this afternoon, you're on to your favorite health program, Health Only on 88.4 Royal FM. You are doing the right thing by listening to us, because trust me, your afternoon is going to be amazing. You should have great music, you should have great things to listen, great topic to discover this afternoon. Of course, we have an expert that is going to be enlightening us on that, whom we recorded earlier on for this program. And I would like to remind you, dear listeners, that our lines are open. You can get to us with any question you have or any contribution if you feel concern. But now I'm going to ask you a question, dear listeners. Why do you think women give birth at home? Is it that you, the husband, you refuse to take them to the hospital? Is it that you don't like that they should go and meet the midwife? Maybe it's a male midwife. You don't want them to see your partner's intimate parts. You don't want them to discover some certain things. What are the reasons why women give birth at home, especially the men? Please tell me, and the women too, you're not left out. Call us on these lines: 671-15-7321 or 658-089121 or still 620-377481. We are listening, we are waiting for your calls, and we are waiting, hoping that you will greatly contribute into this edition of Family Health. And I said already, we are going to talk about the reasons why women give birth at home, and also outline some of the dangers and also advice to the different women so that they may prevent such happenings from occurring again. We interviewed earlier on our guest. He's a midwife. He's Tosi Jones, and he gave us a whole lot of explanation on this topic. We'll begin by asking him, is giving birth at home completely a bad idea? Because some people, like in the Western world, they prefer to hire a midwife, hire health personnel to come and assist their partners in the house give birth. So on one way or the other, it is not completely bad. Let's listen to Tosi Jones, the midwife, give us some explanation on that.
Giving birth at home is not actually bad, in quotes, because normally in some places some people decide to give birth at home where they may have a healthcare, a midwife attend to them at home, and in most of these cases the pregnancies are considered as low risk when maybe complications were not identified during pregnancy. But in a context where we are talking about, I want to think that we are talking about a situation maybe in a context where people just decide to give birth at home without even having any knowledge about their medical conditions and so on, not that they even call a medical personnel to attend to them.
Yes, you just gotten there the midwife Tosi Jones explaining some of the reasons, that not even the reasons, saying that it is not completely a bad thing to give birth at home. It is true that some people choose to do that, but they don't have the medical assistance they are supposed to have. So when you have the medical assistance, it is not bad because you will be assisted and everything is going to take place well. Next we asked him the reasons why women give birth at home. That's our main topic. Let's listen to him give us some of the reasons.
Sometimes women give birth at home because of limited access to health facilities. For example, you are in a place where health facilities, they are not there. So you may just realize that before you get to the hospital, you have given birth. So many people decide maybe to just give them birth at home. Secondly, you have maybe cultural barriers or traditional barriers. Sometimes in Muslim communities, they believe that women who give birth in the hospital, they are in some tradition, so they have their traditional birth attendants, so they would rather prefer the woman gives birth at home rather than going to the hospital. Then another thing is financial challenges. Now with modernization or increase in prices or everything, you get to the hospital, at first you used to deliver and pay maybe 3,000, but now you see that a woman may deliver and pay a lot of money at the level of the facility. So for some people, because of poverty, they may just decide to give birth at home. And then maybe for some people, fear or distrust of the healthcare providers, maybe the attitudes of the healthcare providers, the way because of their previous experiences, the way they have been treated in the hospital, they may decide to just give birth at home. I've spoken about geographical barriers or maybe distance related barriers. For example, there are some communities where a woman may need to move to trek. There's no transport means. She may need to trek for about even 2 days or 24 hours before getting to the hospital, and because of this, the woman decides to give birth at home.
So you just got the reasons from the midwife Tosi Jones, talking about cultural barriers, especially on the side of the Muslims, and also financial barriers. So they have difficulties getting means to get to the hospital, because when they get there, the bills are so high. So they prefer to do it locally in their different communities. And also he mentioned bad roads. You know, sometimes you are in a rural area where there are no roads, and the time for you to get out of your area to a health center is really difficult, and the women are forced to trek because vehicles cannot access their area. Also, we can talk about illiteracy. Most people are very limited about such how important is it for a woman to head to the hospital. So they just have their own belief. It ties with cultural beliefs. They have their own beliefs on what to do when a woman is pregnant and about to give birth. That's just how it is going to look like on Family Health this afternoon. And dear listeners, I told you I'm waiting for your calls, I'm waiting for your reaction. Give us your reasons why women choose to give birth at home, and maybe one of the reasons can be their husbands who are preventing them from heading to the hospital because they are jealous that maybe the woman may go meet a male midwife or male medical doctor who is maybe going to see their private parts, and he's jealous that no, I'm the one that is supposed to see it, not any other person. So just call us and give us your opinion. I think it is time for us to have the one of our slots, the first slot of this program, and the first slot, it's the discovery page. Let's have the discovery page.
Family Health, our discovery, our discovery.
And for our discovery page this afternoon is the one and only Crystal Mando. Good afternoon to you, Crystal.
Good afternoon, FRUNIE CRISPIN. Greetings to your guests in the studio and to all the listeners of Family Health. Today in our discovery page, we are going to discover 6 ways to spend less on mobile data. Mobile data is an inescapable reality. Virtually everyone who has a mobile phone has one with mobile data. However, this can be a headache. The expenses that come from this can weigh on the portfolio. There are always ways to minimize these expenses. Firstly, become a hunter for hotspots. What are hotspots? They are basically zones defined by the operators where it is possible to access the internet for free. Secondly, the apps that help you manage mobile data. Operators have inter-applications or the information that they need to know in terms of mobile data. If you want to weigh them against information from an independent application, consider installing My Data Manager. We also have to know that by turning off push notifications, you can save your mobile data. Do you see those notifications that your phone relentlessly gives? This information consumes your mobile data. However, many times the mobile phone does this research without giving any news. It is spending mobile data on it. The solution is to disable this option. We talk about CAMAIR. Telecommunication packages are not all created equal. There are packages with more or less mobile data with different prices and with or without a loyalty period. Therefore, before hiring a new package, it is extremely important to do a market survey. Lastly, you have to control the mobile data you spend on Chrome. If you frequently use the Chrome browser, then you should know that it is possible to reduce the use of mobile data. It will condense images and files that you don't need and that are consuming mobile data. This is what we got for you in our discovery page today. Have a nice day and stay blessed.
Thank you very much, Crystal Mando, for that interesting discovery page. And dear listeners, if you're just joining us, you're on to Family Health on Royal FM 88.4 Royal FM. Our lines are open. Let me remind you again, our lines are open. And if you wish to reach us this afternoon, you can reach us on 671-157321 or 658-089125 or still 620-377481. And we have been talking about the reasons why women choose to give birth at home, and now we are going to talk about the consequences of giving birth at home on the side of the mother. You know, it has consequences on both sides, the side of the mother and the side of the newborn baby. First, let's have the side of the mother.
The first one is that it may lead to postpartum hemorrhage. Postpartum hemorrhage refers to bleeding after pregnancy, after delivery, and it is one of the highest leading cause of maternal death, or it is one of the highest leading to mothers dying after delivery. Is the highest, is the first. It accounts for about 24%. So when a woman delivers there are several causes. I'm not sure we may go into these. The several causes. So when a woman delivers at home and there's no way to manage this bleeding, she can bleed to the extent that she loses her own life. So that's the first one. That's the first consequence. That's postpartum hemorrhage. So the second thing that we have now, we are mostly talking about the things that the consequences on the mother. We have perineal tears, because normally when the woman is delivering, as a midwife, you support the perineum and prevent it from tearing. So now when you are not there to support, the woman may easily have a tear, and that's dangerous. The tears are classified into degrees. Sometimes you may have a tear that may move right from the vagina to the anus, and sometimes they develop complications such as fistulas, whereas the vagina has a communication now with the rectum, and feces can easily leave from the rectum to the vagina and so on, and you can also easily get infection. So another thing for the mother is that she can easily get infections, because now at home infection prevention measures are not taken into consideration, so she can easily get infected. Another, as a woman, infections, you are open. When the infections, they can start from the vagina or from the vulva, and then they move right up and affect your fallopian tubes and then lead to infertility. So the consequences are really fatal.
And it is worth mentioning that the midwife also told us that the consequences are not only on the mother but also on the child. Now let's get Tosi Jones, the midwife, expatiate on the consequences on the babies.
The baby too may also be infected. So the infection is not just for the mother, the baby too may be infected. Looking at the baby, the consequences on the baby, there may be aspiration of meconium or maybe fluid, because whenever you deliver the baby, sometimes it is necessary to do resuscitation. That means cleaning the nostrils, removing fluid from the mouth, and preventing the baby from that fluid from getting into the baby's lungs. So now, if there's no aspiration, if it is not aspirated, the baby may get into asphyxia and then experience difficulties in breathing, and that may definitely or also lead to infections. And then when we talk about this meconium aspiration too, meconium is the first tool of the baby, and in rare cases you may deliver a child and realize that the baby passes stool and then aspirates the stool, which is really a big problem. Then another thing that may be as a consequence, there's what we call umbilical cord prolapse. That means during your labor, the umbilical cord may just protrude or come out of the cervix while the baby is yet to be delivered, and because of that there can be a compression, and if there's a compression and there's nobody to manage the situation in the house, it may even protrude right down to the vagina and the vulva. So if there's no way to prevent it or to manage the case, now the baby inside will not stop receiving blood, and that will it can lead to fetal death. The baby may finally die. And then you also have a complication like shoulder dystocia. When we talk about dystocia, they are just like difficulties, abnormal labor. That means when maybe you are delivering the baby, the head finally comes out, but the shoulders, they are not coming out, and at this point it is a very difficult case to manage at home. So these are some of the consequences that may happen as a result of home delivery.
And moreover, we are now going to have what to do whenever a woman happens to give birth at home. Of course, it is not advisable, but when it happens because of some circumstances, what exactly should we do? What should be done at that very moment? Should we rush to the hospital or stay at home? Let's have Tosi Jones, the midwife, explains.
Immediately a woman gives birth at home, it is good for her to go to the hospital, because immediately she gets to the hospital, if there was a tear, vaginal tear or cervical tear or perineal tear, it will be repaired. The problem will be solved. If it is that she's having postpartum hemorrhage, if she's still bleeding, so this thing she will be helped. And if it is that there are risk of infections that she can be having over the baby, the infections now will be treated or prevented. And if it is also that the baby aspirated fluid. So based on some of those consequences, we can now know the reasons why the woman should get to the hospital even after delivering the baby. So if the baby is infected, they will treat and all of that. And then now
we will continue with ways in which the phenomenon can be curbed in our society. Before we continue with that, let's have a caller on line one. Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Christian.
How do I call you?
Petit chauffeur.
Oh, Petit chauffeur. I'm happy to have you today.
Yes. I say good afternoon to the doctor.
Thank you very much.
Yes. I think women from nowadays, sometimes they don't like to go to the hospital because of the irresponsibility of the husband. Because the husband feels that when he takes the wife to the hospital to deliver, the bill will be too much for him.
Really?
Don't you know that the wife's life is in risk? So it's very important that the wife deliver in the hospital. And sometimes others decide to deliver at home because sometimes it might be in the night.
Yes.
And transport means to get to the hospital is very difficult. And you decide to deliver at home. And maybe if advice that after delivering, you should get to the hospital for medical checkup.
Yes.
Yeah, to see whether everything is okay. So that is all I feel.
Thank you very much, Petit Chauffeur, for your contribution this afternoon. I was about to say we are going to have the discovery page, not the discovery page. We are going to have grandma's recipe. Why am I mixing up on the different slots? We have two slots. We had the discovery page, and it's time for us to have grandma's recipe. Let's have grandma's recipe.
Family health. Grandma's recipe. Grandma's recipe.
And for grandma's recipes, Grandma Germaine. Good afternoon to you, Grandma Germaine.
Good afternoon, FRINUE CRISPIN. Good afternoon to all your listeners. Good afternoon to all your guests. You guys are warmly welcome to Grandma's Recipe. Today in Grandma's Recipe, we're going to talk about what should we use to kill cancer or to defeat cancer. We all know that cancer is a killer disease that everyone is afraid of. But this morning, I'm coming to give you hope for those who are suffering from cancer. Okay, there are more and more people whose disease have been cured by raw sweet potato juice treatment. So, sweet potato juice treatment not only can cure cancer, it also cures liver disease, diabetes, gastric ulcer, kidney disease, heart disease, high blood pressure, low back pain, and shoulder pains, etc. So, there are a lot of things that this raw sweet potato juice can actually heal. So, raw sweet potato juice treatment poses no danger. Anyone can try out the treatment and actually feel the effect within very short span. Those in pain after drinking sweet potato juice for 1 to 2 weeks, the pain will gradually be relieved. Those who are not in pain, once you persist with this treatment for a while, the appetite will recover, you will look better, and the body strength will slowly recover. So how are you supposed to make these sweet potato juice? The amount of sweet potato needed for first preparation: big sweet potato 1 to 3 pieces, small sweet potatoes 3-4 pieces. Wash sweet potato cleanly, remove all the sprouting parts, grate into pieces with vegetable grater. After grating, wrap them in clean woven cloth or cotton hem cloth with big pores. Then squeeze it hard to squeeze out juice. Drink this juice 30 to 60 minutes before breakfast and dinner on an empty stomach. If possible, 1 glass before dinner. Every time, drink immediately after preparation, and daily persistence is most important. So that's what we got for you today in Grandma's Recipe. See you next week by the grace of God, of course. Stay blessed.
Thank you very much, Grandma's Amen. And of course, next week we are going to be together to have another interesting Grandma's recipe. We are going to have the last excerpt of this program, which is an explanation from the medical doctors on ways in which the phenomenon of giving birth at home can be curbed in our society. Let's listen to the last time to the midwife, Tosi Jones.
How can we solve the problem of women giving birth at home? I want to say that knowledge is a very key thing. It's a very key thing as far as this is concerned, because when women they don't have knowledge on these consequences or on these dangers of giving birth at home, they may not know the fatality or the consequence, or they don't know how severe it is. Nothing will move them to go to the hospital. So now we have to encourage these women to attend antenatal care clinic, because during antenatal care clinic they are educated on all this, so it makes them informed. And then also talking about the community, because in those communities where there are stereotypes like if a woman gives birth in the hospital she is weak and all that, so there needs to be community sensitization still on the importance of giving birth in the hospital and on the consequences of giving birth at home. And then we need to also empower women financially. Talking about empowering women financially, sometimes the women depend mostly on their husbands or families for support. So if the husband is not there to give transport, you realize that the woman stays just at home. So if we empower them maybe to do little business, they may not be afraid of the financial challenges or the cost. They may try to get to the hospital. And then another thing is that we can solicit for subventions for help by the government, maybe to create roads or to subsidize the payment of their fees for pregnant women and all those things. So advocacy is also very important. And then another thing is that we can also create health facilities. We can also create health facilities so that they can be closer to the population.
To give a special thank you to our midwife who gave us that interview. It was very, very interesting, and I'm sure that you guys, you listeners, everybody, you grabbed something new today. The men and women, especially the men, I hope you grabbed something new today about the reasons why women give birth at home and some of the consequences and ways in which this phenomenon can be curbed, and also what to do immediately your wife has given birth at home. What are the steps to follow? Thank you very much, Tosi Jones, for your explanation, and thank you to dear listeners. Before we go, we should have this sweet musical break from Bianca, our Cameroonian artist that is making us proud out there.
I will. But right now I just really need to get on my feet. Cause when I plead, you don't really see me. You're never thinking about me. I'm your shield and your protector, darling. But when do you protect me? You cannot reciprocate. Can I be on your case? But to me I won't wait. Cause I have all that I need in my ja. If not for ja, I for don't die. There's no one to play with me.
And that's how the program has been today on today's edition. Hoping to have you next Thursday for another edition. Of course, we shall have a live medical expert on another specific topic. Thanking you, dear listeners, and also giving a special thanks to our technical team this afternoon, made up of Romeo Adekume, who has been our sound engineer, video editing Jean-Marie Otu, coordination Jean Passiontala, and for general supervision Reverend Pastor Bisa Emmanuel Noel. And for the presentation, I have been FRINUE Crispin. Dear listeners, hoping to have you next week Thursday, but do not forget, tomorrow you will have Fraîcheur Royale in the company of Raissa Parker. Stay blessed, stay tuned to our programs.
Royal FM.
Mon ami, que tu as un agent là? Non, fais